It can really feel like content creation is taking over your life when you're trying to grow a brand online. But there is a way to simplify this. And this is what I actually do with my clients to make sure that they're still growing, that they're staying on message, that we're getting sales, and that we're not like going extra days or weeks without posting content. And it is by batch creating, but in a very strategic way. This isn't just like creating some random big YouTube and then hoping you get some good clips from it. No, we're going to be a little more intentional about that. And by being intentional, we're going to be able to get, yes, baby. See, when you've got kids, you've got toddlers, you got to make the most of every second that you have to create content. And so that's why with this piece of content I'm creating with you right now, I am going to be turning this into at least 40 pieces of content, perhaps even more. So there's this trap where you want to grow your business, you want to reach people, you want to make sales. And so you feel this pressure to put out a lot of content. But like, I think everybody who's been doing this for more than 5 minutes knows that feeling of starting to get like burnt out by all of the content creation that you have to do, especially if you're like me right now and you've got toddlers who want you to let them in so they can come have a tea party in this room. Baby, do you want to come have a tea party? You're gonna have to find your tea sets. I don't know where they are. So yeah, obviously I've got to make the most of the time that I have because I usually don't have a ton of time to create content. And whether you've got kids or not, you have a life, right? Yeah. I hope you do. Please have a life, because if you do not, you're going to get so burnt out. I was thinking the other day about how, like, even though I'm constantly in creation mode with creating content for myself and my clients, I wasn't feeling creatively fulfilled. And it's because I had all these other interests that I just wasn't getting to. And so I've had to reconfigure how I'm thinking about my content, because even though I've helped my clients and I've done this batch creation process in the past, I wasn't doing it because it takes a little bit of planning. It takes a little thought. And when you are burnt out, that's the hard part, really, truly, is getting your brain together to create this plan. And so let me help you actually create the plan on how you're going to do this. And so the first thing is knowing what your content is going to be about. And for me, I literally never run out of content ideas. And I'm going to give you a couple ways that I personally find content ideas that not only are good info that I know that my potential clients need, but it's also things that they are looking for and actively want to learn about. So we do this through keyword research or SEO. You can use those words interchangeably, but keyword research is just figuring out what keywords people are typing into search bars that they are looking for. And then SEO is search engine optimization. So that's how you use those keywords you find to optimize your posts so that they get seen and they show up in those search results. Now, I've used this for all kinds of platforms at this point. I was a blogger, and so I used SEO extensively. Please don't touch that. I've used SEO extensively to get ranking in Google. I've had a lot of articles that have ranked number 1 on Google. Pinterest, I've driven tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of page views through Pinterest using SEO. And then literally with TikTok, I have so many videos that are getting views and followers every single day that are from months ago because I optimized them for SEO. So this is a really important skill to master if you want to be a content creator. And the key is literally you just go to the search bar. You start typing in what you think a keyword is going to be. So for this, it might be how to create content. So I might put in how to create content, and then I'll see what auto populates. Like start typing, it gives you all these possibilities that you could search for. See what comes up. That's going to give you some good ideas, and then pick one. And once you pick it and you search for it, for example, if you're in TikTok, you can scroll down and see a bunch of related searches. If you're on Google, you'll see related searches, and also in the FAQ drop-down section. Those are great places to get content ideas. I love doing this. And this is my number way of getting content ideas. Now, in TikTok, there's also now Creator Search Insights, which is kind of like a souped up SEO tool that you can use there. If you're looking on Google, there's all kinds of tools and Chrome extensions like Keywords Everywhere. I also use a program called Key Search. It's only $17 a month, and that is really helpful. YouTube has vidIQ. Essentially, whatever your main platform is going to be, pick a tool and go with it. But ensure, please, that SEO is part of your strategy, both to know that you're giving people what they want and also so that you're searchable. And that way you're more likely to drive traffic in the long run. And that's really how you escape this like hamster wheel of content, churning out content, is focusing on SEO, because this gives you that long-term ROI on what you're creating. All right. So now once you have your content idea, you're going to have to outline what that content is. And this is supposed to be long form. This is not a TikTok video. This is a long form piece of content. You can either create a video or you could create like a blog. I recommend doing long form video for YouTube or a podcast that you can also put on YouTube and also put out as a podcast. But the way that I structure this is that I don't just say, I'm going to make this big piece of content. I think, how am I going to actually create 10 short form pieces of content that altogether create a longer form piece of content? Because a lot of times, both for myself and for working with my clients, a lot of times I'll try to clip pieces from their long form videos, but their points are a little disjointed and it's hard to get a 1 minute soundbite to use for TikTok, to use for Reels. And so the way that I think about this is actually writing out what the hook is. And so, for example, I have for every section of this outline, I put a hook in there so that I know there's a place that I can easily grab and it will work for those shorter form platforms. And so the secret to creating 40 pieces of content from one big piece of content is to be strategic in how you script out all those different pieces so that you can easily grab those 30-second, 1 minute clips to repurpose other places. You only need people to watch 4 seconds of your video. Most people are going to scroll by within 3 seconds. So if you get past that 3-second mark to 4 seconds, 10 seconds for someone watching like a TikTok or a reel, you've got them. You're doing amazing. And so if you can think about what your hook is going to be, if you can also have any visual hooks, like something cool going on the screen, if you can also have text on screen for your hooks, also make sure that your captions are something really grabby. That's going to help too. But if we're thinking about it nested within this longer piece of content, make sure that each section of your outline, each new topic has a hook baked into it. The hook isn't supposed to be a trick to get people to watch. Your hook is to get them to buy in to you and to what you're saying. And so you have to think about like, what is the objection someone would have to even watching this video, right? For this video, for example, this whole long form video, I've heard about batch creating, but it's so hard. It takes so much work. What are all the objections people are going to say to it? And so my response is like, batch creating is a lot of work, but in the long run, it's going to save you time when you will have literally days and weeks that you have to do zero for content creation instead of being in this mode where you have to think about coming up with new ideas and filming every single day. That's exhausting. And so if you batch create and edit, that's one exhausting day versus 30 mentally exhausting days. Right? So that's like an objection that I can knock down so that I get them to at least watch what I'm about to tell them. And so that's one way that I think you can like frame this idea of hooks. And there's tons of people who have lists of hooks that you can grab. I have Content HQ, which is a Notion template that both helps you to plan and execute your content, but I'm including a lot of tutorials in there to actually help you edit, write, script, all that for your content. And there's also a list of 200 different hooks that you can grab from in there, but use these hooks, these lists of hooks as jumping off points, as a starting place. This is what you are using to start to find your own voice. But as you go, I want you to start to like think about how you would say it and not simply just like plopping in the words. It's a template. Try to take it a step further. Listen, people don't give a shit what you're wearing. Unless you are a creator who is doing style and fashion and things like that, you don't have to change outfits every time that you're creating a new video. So if you want to sit down, you want to batch create 4 like YouTubes in one day, you don't have to change your clothes. You don't have to change your hair. You don't have to change your makeup. Just like sit down and record. Make it as simple as possible. The most important thing that you can do though is just ensure that you've got good lighting and good sound. And right now, like my lighting is just the window. I've got a nice big window here with lots of natural light. It's diffused lighting, meaning it's not direct sunlight. So right now there's cloud cover, so that makes it diffused. But also once I get past about 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, the sun's on this side of the house. So I still have light coming in, but it's not direct sunlight. So that gives it this nice look. Thank you. That's one with the lighting. If you do want to buy a ring light, I have a ring light here. I don't really use it that much because my natural lighting is so good, but you can get a ring light. They're not very expensive. Back in my day when I started, these were like $200. Now they're like $20 in TikTok Shop or on Amazon. So if you want one, you can go ahead and grab one. Not necessary. And as far as mics, like I use this Blue Yeti that I've had for 8 years. They're a little pricier than $100, but they're still somewhat affordable. And it's lasted me this whole time and it's still working great. But also you can just grab one of these little lavalier mics that you can get again off TikTok Shop or Amazon for like 10 or $20. They're not very expensive. But don't let the lack of equipment hold you back from making your content. Just make your freaking content, okay? Also, it doesn't matter if your house is aesthetic or not. Nobody gives a shit. Number one, you can, when you're editing your video, you can blur out your background. Okay. You can also fix your camera settings so that it blurs out your background. If you're on an iPhone, you can do cinematic mode. Your background's blurred out. No one's even going to see it anyways. But also, people want you to be a real person. We're so tired of bland, boring minimalism. And no offense, because I totally understand how people love minimalism because I have ADHD and I do like that like open, clean space. But as far as being an interesting video to watch, it's not that interesting. So just go with what you got. Stop freaking stressing. Don't wait until your house is perfectly clean to record your content. Please don't wait until your children are perfectly quiet to record your content. I got a kid right here playing with, I don't know, some weird toy. Just do it. If you mess up when you're recording, don't stop. Just take a deep breath and start over. That's all you have to do. Because when you go into edit, whether you're using CapCut or you're editing within an app like TikTok or Instagram, as long as you take, thank you. As long as you just like take a deep breath and start over, you can edit out that crappy part. Also, don't worry about making your editing super fancy. What's most important is that people get your message. So as long as people can understand what you're saying and it's compelling content, you don't have to have tons of crazy edits. You don't have to have like tons of B-roll, which we're going to get into in a second. Just make it simple. And as you progress your editing and take it up a notch, but don't worry about that right now. So people will use trending audios to create videos with like text on screen. And then there's like a shot of them like drinking their coffee or like pouring their tea or doing something. That video is called B-roll. B-roll is supporting shots that help tell a story. And it's what we use to create short trending audio videos. So one major hack that you can do is while you are recording this, go ahead and record some B-roll. I have a huge list of B-roll ideas inside of Content HQ that you can check out at my link. But essentially, you're just going to create videos of you doing random shit like typing on my computer, talking in my microphone, drinking my drink. It doesn't have to be that crazy. The more that you can add movement and interest to it, the better. But if it needs to be basic, it's okay to be basic. Just start building a B-roll library. An album on your phone, create a folder in your Google Drive, create a place that you can just dump all of those videos so that anytime you need to create content, you can just go there and pull one and you're done. You can create a piece of content within like 10 seconds. Once you have one big piece of content, you can turn that into like 40 or 50 pieces of content. And here's exactly how you're going to do that. Okay. So we've got our YouTube video. That YouTube video, after you edit it and upload it to YouTube, you can use something like Podbean, which is a podcast hosting company, and they will automatically pull from YouTube and distribute it to Spotify and to Apple Podcasts and wherever else you want to send it to. That takes a huge step out of the process. So you're getting both a YouTube video and a podcast out of it with just one step of uploading it to YouTube. But then we can download the captions from either, if you're editing in CapCut, you can download them from there. You can grab them from YouTube or use other different software like Descript to create a transcript. Take that transcript. We're going to go to ChatGPT. We're going to pop it in there and we're going to have ChatGPT pull a bunch of different content ideas for us. So number one, we're going to turn it into a blog. Okay. Also show notes that we can add into our YouTube captions and also for our podcast. Then we're going to have it turn it into potential carousel ideas. So if we want to post carousels on Instagram or TikTok, Facebook, we can create carousels based on what ChatGPT pulls. We're also going to tell it to give us ideas for text on screen trending audios, videos that we can post on like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram. It'll give us like headlines or little ideas and hooks that we can use for that. Then I'm going to tell it to also give me ideas for threads posts. Okay. And then you're also going to ask it to suggest 1-minute clips for you to edit. So a lot of editing softwares now, like CapCut, you can actually edit via the transcript. So I can say to ChatGPT, recommend a section of this that I can pull a 1-minute clip for a TikTok, and it'll give you what that's going to be. So when you go back into CapCut, you can just find that piece of the transcript and cut everything else out. It's time to stop manually posting all of your content. You need to start scheduling stuff, or you're going to be in this constant like overdrive trying to get on all the platforms every single day. But ideally, if we're going to be scheduling our content, we want to use the native schedulers as much as we can. So, for example, on Instagram and Facebook, there's Meta Business Suite. You can schedule through there. It'll get posted on both Facebook and Instagram. You can also, on YouTube, they have their own scheduling options. TikTok, on desktop, you can schedule from desktop. Okay. Personally, when I have used third-party softwares for scheduling, I have seen decreases in my reach. Okay. Some people say it's fine. They haven't had any problem. For me personally, I just like to use the actual native schedulers because I've always seen better results that way. That's my personal opinion. Do what you want with it. And then finally, I am so sick of waiting on algorithms to show my content to the right people. And that's why I have an email list. An email list gives you a direct line of connection to your audience, to your clients, to your customers. So when you create a piece of content, you can just go to ChatGPT and be like, hey, can you turn this into an email for me? And then bam, you've got an email to send your list. And you can also link out to your podcast, link out to your YouTube channel, or sell your shit, whatever you want to do. But a lot of people do not email their list because like, I don't know what to write. I'm not good at writing. Guess what? ChatGPT is going to take this piece of content and turn it into an email for you. And then you're done. Bam. All right. If we want to take this to the biggest, highest, greatest level, there is one platform you're going to add in that you probably are not thinking about. And that's Pinterest. Okay. Pinterest is not just for like pinning your cute dark academia like decor ideas. You can also grow your other accounts via Pinterest. So when you make a TikTok video, you can go post that on Pinterest. When you have a YouTube video, you can go post that on Pinterest. When you have a blog, you should definitely be posting that on Pinterest. Now, it takes a little work, but platforms like Pinterest have long-term opportunities for you because it's not like TikTok where you just post and half the time it's gone in like 1 hour or less. SEO-based platforms, search engine optimization platforms like Pinterest and Google, they give you long-term growth because they age like wine. They only get better with age. I have pins and I have blog posts that are still pulling in traffic from like 6, 7, 8 years ago. So if you want to go to the next level, think about pinning. All right, if you need help with this, go grab Content HQ. I have put all the different templates that I use in there that I use for my clients. And I'm also adding tutorials every single day right now in order to give you literally everything that you need to know to create content and do it without feeling overwhelmed or exhausted.